and welcome to Aegon's song, for his is the song of ice and fire. In this series, we'll be analysing the scenarios surrounding all of the main protagonists in their final chapters, either from the end of A Dance with Dragons or in the Winds of Winter sample chapters, looking at where they are, who they're with, and the events that have just happened, and trying to determine how these scenes might play out going forwards. In this episode, we'll be focusing on Tyrion Lannister. In Tyrion's sample chapter from the Winds of Winter, we find him preparing to join the Battle of Slaver's Bay as a sellsword attached to the Second Sons. Penny is helping him don his armour as the sounds of war draw ever closer. They watch Tyrion burning and eating corpses mid-air as they're launched by the trebuchet Wicked Sister, one of 6 trebuchets surrounding the city and the closest to where the Second Sons are camped. In the command tent, a messenger arrives ordering the sellsword company to attack the Ironborn in the bay. Inkpots refuses, explaining that only Brown Ben Plum can order the Second Sons to war, and that their horses can't run on water. The messenger leaves to a hail of laughter from the sellswords in the tent. Tyrion and Jorah then try to tell them that they're fighting for the wrong side, but to no avail. When Brown Ben returns, he informs them that their orders are to protect the trebuchet Wicked Sister, which doesn't go down well, as it's pointed out by Inkpots that mounted soldiers such as the Second Sons should not be used for holding a stationary position. Another messenger then arrives, ordering the company to sweep behind the Unsullied and take them in the rear. The messenger recognises Tyrion as a slave belonging to Yezan Zokagaz and demands that the dwarf is to be surrendered for punishment. Jorah Mormont answers the demand with a sword through the man's throat, sending him sprawling across the Savas table, dying. It's then that Brown Ben explains that the Second Sons are changing sides, again, and that they only join the Yunkai as a ploy. So the question is, what happens next? What Tyrion does next depends entirely upon what Brown Ben decides that the Second Sons will do, now that they've turned their cloaks. In the sample chapter, Tyrion and Jorah had agreed that in terms of military strategy, taking out the trebuchets as soon as possible would be the best course of action. So Brown Ben, no doubt eager to please Daenerys when she returns, and as an experienced military commander, will probably decide the same. Seeing as the Second Sons are camped next to Wicked Sister, it seems probable that that will be their first target, taking out the trebuchet and the soldiers who are operating it. After that, they have 2 choices: head north into the heart of the battle, or head east towards the other trebuchets. As Barristan Selmy has the Unsullied and the Ironborn fighting with him in the northern side of the bay, and the Windblown that have turned their cloaks, east seems the most likely option, going past the next trebuchet, the Ghost of Astapor, which has already fallen to the Mother's Men, towards the trebuchets Mazdan's Fist and Dragonbreaker, that are situated to the east, to the rear of the city. The sheer numbers of the Wise Masters, who still have legions in reserve, could influence Brown Ben's decision on where to take the Second Sons. Sellswords are not known to rush into battles where they're outnumbered and unlikely to win. But the Mother's Men are also to the south of the city, so between them they should have more than enough men to take out the remaining 2 trebuchets. Another factor to consider is that of the 2 dragons, Rhaegal and Viserion. Would they know or understand who is fighting for their mother and who against? It's impossible to know. But should they decide to involve themselves, they will dominate the battlefield, either helping the Queen's men win, or by burning everyone, everywhere. What will Tyrion do during the fighting, we should ask? Will he linger on the fringes, letting the tall people bludgeon each other in battle, as someone of his intelligence level should? No, seems the likely answer. Based on previous behaviour during the other two battles he's been involved in, Tyrion's pride doesn't seem to allow it. During the battle on the Green Fork, his father, Tyrion, placed him in a position of danger, holding the left next to the river, and there Tyrion did not hide. At the Battle of the Blackwater in King's Landing, Tyrion led the assault after the Hound had left, again placing himself in the heart of the battle. So using previous behaviour to predict future behaviour, Tyrion will probably be in the thick of it, as no doubt Daenerys will hear upon her return. All this will contribute towards the oncoming meeting towards Tyrion and Daenerys, two giants in the Song of Ice and Fire.